skin layer. And you can see because the line art is over top, it doesn't actually mess with the line art at all. And if I deselect that, if I go to select, deselect, then you can actually see where it is. Now there are some areas here that I have gone over, but that's okay. We don't need to worry about them too much. Actually, it's kind of a good thing to go over. So I'm going to continue doing this. And then we're going to come back to show you some other stuff. So I'm going to fill in the rest of this, and then we'll come back when I'm done a little bit more. Okay, so now I've filled in the rest of the skin, as you can see here. Now we're going to start on the clothing here. And I've actually done a few things on purpose. I've done some overlap here and here in order to show you how the layers end up working and how it's not like critical that they be awesome on the bottommost layers, and also how sort of the advantage of layers. So we're going to move on to the clothes layer. We're going to click on it to make sure it's highlighted. The ones that are blue highlighted is the ones actually active. If it's not blue highlighted, it's not active at all. Like, you can actually have no active layers if you click on the gray space at the bottom, but we generally want to keep a layer active. The little eyeball on the side, if you don't know, hides layers. So if I hide a layer, I can see what's behind it. So it's very useful when you start getting many, many layers to sort of find where something's at, especially if you're looking for little obscure things like highlights and stuff. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by putting down some clothes, and I'm going to do it on the chest area here. So I'm going to just do like what I did before with the skin, is I'm going to start by making a selection with my polygonal lasso. And I'm going to just sort of go around the whole thing. There's a few areas where the artist actually didn't finish their lines, and as a colorist I can tell you that that's very annoying for it to come from the artist. That especially in critical areas, large areas, like the torso of this particular drawing is missing a line that connects it to the rest of the drawing, so it just kind of goes off into space. So if you're going to get somebody to color your lines, or if you're even coloring your own stuff, I highly suggest you pay attention in your inking in order to make sure that all your lines are closed, so you don't leave massive gaps, especially like if you've erased ink line, like you've actually inked over lined work and you've gone in and you've erased, you will find that there are probably lines that you missed. So you're going to have to go in there and fix that. It will be great help. You'll notice it when you start coloring more than you will notice it if you are just, doing black and white, just putting up your artwork without any color or any kind of shading in it. So now I'm going to fill this with the base color. Now the base color is a sort of a light purple, but the whole thing isn't the base color. Isn't this base color thing? There's are a dark purple, these straps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to deselect, oops, that was bad. I'm going to deselect everything. So I'm going to just select, deselect, deselect everything. And I'm going to go in and I'm going to lock the transparency so that when I'm coloring, it doesn't actually go off into any area I haven't already put this purple in. So I'm going to lock it. It's up here. You can see a little lock appears here, but it's different from this lock. This is a transparency lock instead of a layer lock. Now I'm going to go and I'm going to get my polygonal lasso again. Handy dandy tool. You will use it a lot with this particular coloring method. Now I don't have to make a perfect selection because this is going to be preserved transparent, because it's not actually, there's nothing actually there. You can see through it. You can see through to the bottom layers, so there's nothing actually there. The only part that we have to worry about is where the purple actually is right now. So I'm going to go and I'm going to sample my color from over here. I'm going to take my paint bucket and I'm going to dump it in there. And you see that it didn't go off over the edge, so it's a nice clean line. And we're going to continue doing this for the rest of the drawing. We're going to continue adding the rest of the colors see, I can even go just like way out here. I don't even have to be at all. And I can just, boom, see, it doesn't go anywhere outside where I've already laid down color. So it's really, really handy when you've already laid down some color and you say you want to like change it, like say you don't like the color of the clothes that you picked or something like that, you just turn on that preserve transparency and you just go to town. So I'm going to color the rest of these, and then we will come back once I've laid down some more base color, And we'll start showing you how to put down some interesting backgrounds once the base color is complete. But pretty much up until this point, you're just laying down the base colors, and it takes a little while, but once you get that done, then you can move on to the next step. I'll show you the backgrounds, and then I'll show you how to shade. So that's the end of this lesson. So get your drawing done up to the base shades, and I will show a picture of this when it's complete, like the base shades. Okay, one little problem you might run into is if you have an area where maybe you didn't color it in with the original base color while you still have the transparency lock on. One example of this is this particular area in here. As you can see, there's none of that light purple in here. This is actually clear, and I have the transparency lock on. Oops. I have the transparency lock on, so I can't actually fill it. You'll see that I'm hitting it with it and nothing happens. So you have to make sure that when this starts to happen, you don't freak out. Just go over and check if you've got the transparency lock on. If you do, just unclick it. You'll see the little lock goes away, and then you're perfectly okay to start dumping color in wherever it was that you were having some trouble with.